Hey, I'm Natasha, founder of Never Launch on a Friday. Excited to have you here. Never Launch on a Friday is all about helping female founders overcome the trauma that we carry so we can grow. And I know as myself as a female founder, there have been so many goals that I've had that I have struggled to achieve, not yet achieved. And I know the reason I haven't achieved them is because of the nervous system, my wiring, my beliefs, the trauma, the blocks. And until I can heal that, until I can retrain my thinking, remove that what stops me, I will not be able to achieve my goals. And whatever your goals are, it could be a financial goal, a personal goal, or whatever goal, I am here to help have the conversation about trauma healing for entrepreneurs. I feel that so much of entrepreneurial world, we talk about action and adding and sales and marketing and all these things. However, we rarely talk a lot about what stops us. We talk sometimes about, okay, your mindset and thinking and positivity and manifestation and things like that. But in the words of Brene Brown, how she said it so many times, let's talk about what gets in the way because it's so great to have these visions and these ideas, right? But if there is things inside of us that blocks us, it will never come to be. We will spin our wheels for decades. I can definitely say for me, in my case, decades spinning my wheels to achieve some of my goals. And then my next set of goals, as well as I'm looking at my own beliefs and my own trauma and my own fears. And so having been an entrepreneur my entire career, I know what it feels like to have personal crisis, professional crisis, world like changes to our economies and the way we do business, and it's just turned upside down. I know what it feels like to have a physical crisis and whatever the case may be. And it's like, how do we it's one thing to say, I want to grow, I want to be better, I want to be, all this language around my best self and my potential and fulfill my potential. And we hear books like that all the time. And it drives me up the wall. I was reading a book over the weekend and it was all about self-sabotage. And the premise being that if you're not achieving what you want, it's because you're sabotaging. And I get that. I 100% agree about that. But the problem with the book that I found was it didn't really dig into the unconsciousness of sabotage. Like in my experience, I grew up in a very dysregulated environment. I definitely came to my entrepreneur journey with a ton of baggage, tons of fears, tons of doubts, tons of bad thinking. And it's taken me every single day. I've been working on this, and there's things where I still spin. I'm still not through it. And when they talk about books like, look at your beliefs and look at your blocks and look at your thinking that stops you, we don't know a lot of the time. We don't know why. And that's my biggest pet peeve with all these books about personal development and list all your negative beliefs and list all the ideas. And you're like, fuck that. I don't even know. I don't know why. If I knew, I'd fucking fix it. Right. And I think so much of the blocks we have are unconscious. We don't know why we can't do whatever it is. We don't know why we're stuck at this income. We don't know why we keep having the same problems with our team. We don't know why we keep attracting the same type of client. We don't know why we can't delegate. And we might think we know why, but we really don't. We don't know why. Like I have a friend and she's a content creator and she has like 1 million followers like, with all her things. And she cannot hire help. She cannot hire an assistant. She won't do it. She's terrified. And she could be making a killing, but she makes no money. And it breaks my heart because I look at her and I'm like, there is trauma there. There is trauma. Something is blocking her from delegating, for asking for support, for hiring somebody, for investing in herself, for taking a chance, for letting go of control. There are huge blocks around her head, right? And I'm not saying that I don't have blocks. I have blocks, maybe not in this area, but in other things. And I look at her. She's brilliant, incredible. She's so talented. Her world needs her message, but she can't, it'll never happen for her until she can heal whatever it is that stops her from delegating. I know her. She's invested in tens of thousands of dollars worth of coaching. She is unbelievable. And it's like, what the hell? Like, why are you not, you have this vision of what you want to be, but it can't be, it just can't be until we untangle and uncut the net. Like I like to give this visual of a net. We have like a net, like imagine yourself like in a fishing net. and you're stuck in this fishing net, right? And it could be big or small, whatever it is. And you can't get out, and you got to like cut the rope or cut the net. I don't even know what nets are made of. I have no idea, but you got to like cut it and get out of it. And literally it's like the metaphor of like cutting these, like changing our nervous system, changing our brain, because we did not start with all these worries and fears and doubts, and we didn't start like that. It was something that we learned as kids. And this is the biggest irony. Our nervous system, our belief system was so much created when we didn't even know what was going on. We were kids. And I'm not saying this is always the case. There's so many types of trauma. There's like acute trauma where like, bam, there was an incident. There's developmental trauma. There's generational trauma. There's tons of types of trauma. I'm not saying there's only one type of trauma, right? But in many cases, we were raised with a certain way of thinking, of seeing the world, and consciously or subconsciously, that got into our head. It got into our nervous systems. It got into our body. So if you are running up against blocks in your life as an adult, you probably have no idea what they are or why they are or how to get them or how to get unstuck. And it's heartbreaking because you spin and you invest and you grow and you criticize and you take it personally. You're like, what is wrong with me? And I think that's the wrong question, because it's probably not even something you knew that happened. It's probably not even something you remember. It's something in your body. It's something like somatic. And it's something that's like requires some different type of healing to get it out. A business coach probably cannot help with healing, and some might, but if you've been investing in tons and tons of coaching and courses and systems and frameworks, and you're still not where you know that you want to be, I challenge you to look deeper. I challenge you to ask yourself, could there be another reason? Could there be something else? Could there be an invisible block that I'm not even aware of and need some help to untangle? And that's what I want to talk about. And I want to talk about this premise of being your best self and living up to your potential. And I feel like if you're a female founder, and I don't know about you, but when I hear that, I hate that. I hate it so much. And I've talked about this in a past podcast, but I was raised Catholic. I was raised in a Christian environment. I have done missionary work. I went to Catholic schools. I have read the Bible. I've I've taught courses. I've led Bible studies. I've led small groups. I've done all of it. I was in Christianese forever. And this is not about Christianity. Okay. I have no problem with any religion. It doesn't, to me, believe what you want to believe. Like it doesn't matter. However, what I don't believe, what I was taught, and if you were raised Christian or something similar, maybe the same thing, but that God is in control. There is a plan. There is a purpose. There is a calling. There is a destiny. There is something that you were born to be. And I hate that. I hate that so much. I used to find so much comfort in that, and now I hate it. I hate it because it's this idea of you should be something else. Where you are is far away. Your best self, your living up to your potential is over here, and you are here. And you might spend your entire life trying to like chase this ghost to fulfill your potential. What does that even mean? What does that even fucking mean? Fulfill your potential. Be your best self. I don't know. To me, as an alpha high achiever, that is so vague and so subjective. I can't even wrap my mind around what that even means. It's like the idea that, I'll just use this as an example. Okay, I used to believe I was created with a very specific purpose to do a very specific thing, and I had to use my life to find that thing or I would fail somehow. And there was some sort of vision that, God had called me to whatever it was, right? And I remember for decades spinning out, trying to figure out what it is. I'm not there. If my life isn't working, it's because I'm not in my calling. I'm not aligned. I'm not this. I'm not that. And finally, I had like a serious, like nervous breakdown about this. And I was like, I just cannot live that way. I can't live my life feeling like I'm always failing. I'm always off. I'm always distant. I'm unaligned. I'm out of favor. I'm not in my calling. Like, I just can't. I just cannot. And I don't know if you struggle with that, but to me, I just want to share an alternative way of thinking. Okay. Because this podcast, I don't know. I share my thoughts. Me as an entrepreneur, me as a founder, me as a mom. I'm just sharing alternative ideas. Take it, leave it, subscribe, don't subscribe, whatever. Doesn't matter. Right. I want to provide an alternative way of thinking that will help you maybe live with a little more calm and peace. Okay, if you like it, great. Don't, great. Just get rid of it if you don't like it, right? I want to propose that you get to decide what you want to be. If you want to be a puppeteer, if you want to be a marine biologist, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, if you want to be the president, prime minister, I'm in Canada, do it. You get to decide that. There is no call. Oh, my call is to be a snake charmer. That's my destiny. No, if you want to be a snake charmer, go for it. If you want to be like um, like I said, if you want to be like an architect, go for it. If you want to be a writer, go for it. Like, I don't believe there is one call. I do not believe there is one path, one destiny, one alignment, one fate. You might feel comfort in that. I feel that's a trap. What about the idea you can be whatever you decide you want to be? And there is no rule. There is no source that's going to strike you down with lightning if you get it wrong. What if you were created? I do believe we were created. I do believe that. I do not believe in the evolution of the microphytoplasm into the frog, into the human. Like, I don't believe any of that. I do believe that there is a creator. I do believe we were created. I do believe we're a part of creation. I do believe we're all created distinctly. We're all created uniquely. I do not believe, however, that there is in the Bible, like, every one of your days is numbered in his book, right? And I don't know, I probably said that totally wrong. But the idea being that your life is laid out and there is version A of where you are now. And to achieve this, you need to be way over here, right? And all your problems are shaping you so you can achieve this version of you. I fucking hate that. I hate that so, I can't even tell you how much I hate that. The idea that, and this is such a common belief in self-help. And so again, you might hate this, but to me, the idea that problems are a part of our destiny feels awful to me. I had breast cancer last year. My hair is still growing back. I was last September 2024, I was diagnosed with aggressive breast cancer, stage 2. I had a bilateral mastectomy. I did chemo. About a week ago, I had more surgery. And there was just so much mental, physical destruction after chemo. There was just trauma, like this whole thing. I'm a single income household. I have 3 kids. I run a business. And, people would tell me, you're going to be so much stronger and God has a plan and there's a reason. And I just wanted to strangle all of them. I was like, trying to add meaning to cancer to me seems so silly and tormenting and awful. What about the idea instead that sometimes hard things happen? What about the idea that 1 in 8 women get breast cancer and there is no reason? There is no, I was chosen and there's some sort of higher thing. And it's like, okay, can I use this to help? Yeah, I can. But was getting cancer part of my destiny? Like, what kind of loving God would want someone to get cancer? Like, if I didn't have good healthcare, I would be dead. Like, thankfully in Canada, we have it was all covered financially, everything. I had resources, I had support. But what if I didn't live in Canada and my destiny was to get cancer so I could learn to teach about it? If I was born in a different country, maybe I'd be dead right now. I don't know if you know what I mean. But the point is, cancer being destiny, I don't know. I can't buy that. I cannot buy that. I think back to the philosophy of best self, fulfill your potential. You decide what you want to be. You decide what you want to create, what you want to contribute. Do you have natural skills for certain things? Possibly. Have you been raised in a culture and environment that has shaped your personality? Absolutely. Who you are now is a very different version of who you would be if you were born in a different place. So a lot of our personality is cultural, it's environmental, right? It's not hardwired. It's how you were raised and where you were raised. And there are no rules. And you could be bad. You could be, you look at people in the past in history who were so successful in the fulfillment of their vision, but were caused just so much damage. Like, you look at Hitler, for example. The guy was a huge success in his vision. I'm not saying he's right. I hate it. I hate everything about that. Huge success. He made it happen. If you look at the success being he made it happen, you could be so good. We can create whatever we want. We can bring whatever we want to be. And you decide. I love this quote about 20. If you, let's say, for example, last week, I had surgery about 10 days ago. And my last week, I was sick. I had migraines. I was in so much pain. I was just feeling so depressed. I was feeling so victim, like, what about me? And what about this and all that? I was working in my life maybe at like 20%. But my 20% was 100% of all I had. So me giving 20 when I only had 20 was giving 100. So my best self was 20. Do you see what I mean? And for me to like look at this like angelic version of my best self, some phantom idea the self-help industry is like teaching me I should be striving to be, it hurts me. To me, it just hurts my soul. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't. What about the idea that my best self is whatever I want it to be? You know, my best self is not some phantom universe driven destiny that's out there that's preset. Okay, I need to be this or I don't win. That is not helpful. I don't know, to me that is just not helpful. What about this? I decide I want to be a better, not even better. I want to be a more patient partner to my partner. I want to be able to to listen to him without interrupting. That to me is a better version of me, right? I want to talk to my kids and give them my full attention without like unloading the dishwasher. I want to be a more present, more attuned parent. Bah, bah, bah. And I decide what it is. I'm not striving for something else. I get to decide what my best self is. There's not some sort of ethereal, okay, like I get to decide. I don't know if this is helpful. So when I just disconnected from the premise that there's something else that I am not achieving, there's some destiny, there is some fate, there is some calling that I am falling short of. When I removed that idea and saw myself as the creator of my life experience, my stress went down. For me, that was so, so helpful. I kind of created this mini framework for myself. 1, decide what you want to do. B, accept there will be problems. That's it. It's not destiny. It's not destiny I got cancer. It's not destiny that I went through a divorce. It's not destiny I have a special needs daughter. It's not destiny I had chronic pain. It's not destiny, blah, blah. It's not destiny. It's just there's problems. There's problems. 1, I decide, okay, what do I want to create here? How do I want to show up? What do I want to do? What's my best version based on what I want? What's my best version based on now, based on today, based on my 100% is not 100%. There will be problems. Number 2, there will be problems. There's going to be problems. Life has problems. There's going to be problems. If you set a financial goal, okay, I want to double my income. Okay, that's the goal. You want to create that. You want to create doubling your income. There's going to be problems. And then number 3 is decide if you want to handle overcoming those problems, right? So number 2, there's going to be a problem. Okay, like what the options are, okay, you shrink back and you go back to where you were, where you know how to handle the problems. Or number 3, you figure out how to handle those problems and grow and expand your capacity to handle those problems. What about that? What about that as a life framework? We were created given free will, right? Let's just use that. We were created given free will. We can do whatever we want to do with our life, right? You decide what you want. You accept there will be problems. There will be obstacles. There will be something that you need to do, skills you need to learn, healing you need to experience. And as you get to that obstacle, you face it, right? You handle it. You understand why. You ask yourself, why can't I do this, right? There is no book that you can like buy that's going to tell you why you can't do it. So let's just say, for example, you want to double your income. Let's say you want to double your income. You set the goal. You figure out, okay, this is what I want. And now you start to look at the problems. Why? Okay, I don't know how. I don't know what. I don't know where. It's not possible. Blah, blah, blah. You list all the reasons, like why you can't, why you think you can't, all the potential problems, and then all the problems that do actually happen. And then number 3, you set a plan to overcome them, work through them. And you can. It's a decision. You don't have to. But anytime you set a goal, anytime you do anything, there will be problems. And I think I hear my son coming home and the dogs. And anyway, so I just want to end the podcast with that. You do not have to subscribe to the belief that there is a destiny, there is a finite call, for your life and you can create it. You can handle the problems and it's in your hands. I'll see you later.